All right, we are live following Game 3 of the American League Championship Series. The Toronto Blue Jays win 13-4, and if you're looking at our faces right now, you're probably going to be seeing a couple of smiles, something we have not had the chance to do so far in this series. Mac, are the Blue Jays back?
Oh boy. I mean, it's still a 2-1 series now, right? Like tomorrow is now just as big as tonight was, but how can you not feel good about what happened tonight? There was things obviously that didn't go well this weekend. Get 18 hits, 13 runs on those hits tonight. Five home runs. Offense was working a lot better. Got a great performance from Shane Bieber on the bumps. So yeah, everything that we kind of talked about that this team needed to do to try to get back in this series tonight, they did in a big way. Kind of made a bit of a statement doing it, but now you got to follow it up with tomorrow. But obviously, we'll talk about the game here tonight and just a great playoff game. I'm feeling a lot better about things. Having got a win in this series now and looking forward to the rest.
Yeah, I think I would echo that sentiment word for word, man. I think that was like exactly what we wanted to see, what we needed to see from the Jays to kind of believe a little bit more. And I think Chris said it best right there. Big W, home runs are fun. Home runs are so much fun. Jays went deep 5 times tonight en route to this 13-4 victory. And as far as I'm concerned, like they're fully back in the series. They're one win tomorrow from being at 2-2 and this being a best of 3, right?
Absolutely.
Um,
And pressure's on Seattle now. Get a win tomorrow because, this series gets tied up. You're guaranteed to go back to Toronto. And, there's a bit of pressure on Seattle now. So that's definitely a good thing for Toronto. And just got to keep it up tomorrow because, 3-1 lead for Seattle. This series is going to look a lot different too. But, great vibes from tonight. Absolutely.
Exactly. So before we move on to tomorrow, we're not going to get too far ahead of ourselves here
No,
and
let's don't.
revel in
Let's
these
talk
good
about this one.
vibes. And let's talk about this one because there is so much positive stuff to talk about here. And I think the easiest thing to do would be for us to go right to the offense. There's a ton of juicy things we could get into there. But I think the highlight of the night, even in a game that the Jays scored 13, is going to be Shane Bieber. He was 6 innings strong, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 walk, 8 strikeouts. Lights out after that from Julio Rodriguez. What'd you see from him, Mac?
I just loved everything that Shane Bieber did today, right? Like that's why you get him at the deadline to make a start like he did tonight. And I mean, it was shaky first, right? We get down 2-0, and he finds a way to get back. His slider was really good tonight, keeping that down and away from guys getting strikeouts, a lot of swing and miss, and I just hate how undervalued starting pitching has become in the playoffs. And even when that lead's become now 5-2 or 6-2, having Shane Bieber come back on the mound, get through those innings. I thought his fourth inning after they scored 5 in the third, like that was huge. He comes in, he strikes out Rosarena right away, gets Raleigh to pop out. He probably gets a clean 1-2-3. Like he was one strike away, I think, before they scratched an infield hit there. So just stuff like that, keeping the pitching moving, keeping it going. A 13-2 score is definitely, or whatever it ended up, like it's going to kind of take away from the starting pitching just when you look at the final numbers in the runs column. But he was as big as anyone in this victory, just keeping the game moving for Toronto, given those 6 strong innings. And it just, to me, makes such a big difference when your starting pitching can go that far in the game. We only needed 9 outs from the bullpen. It was a bit of an adventure with a few guys still tonight. But no, I mean, that was just excellent from Shane Bieber. It makes the trade for him back in July or August worth it, right? And that's the start you needed from him tonight. And now you can move on to tomorrow, and hopefully you get a real good game from Max too.
Yeah, so you mentioned the slider early on there, and he bumped up his slider usage today a ton. He used it 30% of the time today, which is up from 20% in the regular season. So a 10% increase in his slider usage. And you mentioned it was really, really good. He did a good job keeping it away. And I think it was curious, like in the first inning, it looked really, really bad. He gave up a homer on the fastball to Julio, but all of his stuff like looked hittable. Even the ground rule double to Polanco immediately following that, like I thought we were in for like a short Shane Bieber outing, and like genuinely, like you can ask any Jays fan. Like I think just about any Jays fan you ask would say like they thought the series was over, they thought the season was over. Just like watching the way Shane Bieber came out, and if they told you that they still believed, I think they were lying. So
Yeah.
just like seeing how, yeah, go ahead.
No, and I mean, I felt the same way. We were kind of talking a little before we got on here, just how we were feeling today. And guy wasn't feeling great about the game today. And after that first inning, you strand a guy early, you give up that home run early in the game. Boy, it's looking like a repeat of Sunday and Monday at that point. But full credit to Bieber, he settles in. I don't know if that's a really interesting stat you bring up with the slider, the increased usage with that. I don't know if that's an in-game adjustment or what that was, but clearly worked for him. We got 6 strong innings from him. Just a great job all the way. And like Brutus, credit to Bieber to get locked in and absolutely like striking out the side in the second. I mentioned the fourth inning or the third inning for Bieber after they got those 5, but the second was just as good. Probably a more important inning now that it's brought up, just for the fact that it got him on track, kind of gave Toronto a little bit momentum because body language wasn't looking great after that 2-run home run to lead off the game. And Bieber getting back on the mound, that was probably the first step in getting his team going tonight.
Yeah, there's a lot of sentiment in our comment section right now, giving some credit to Bieber. Was that like does that make the Shane Bieber trade worth it in your eyes? Like his second playoff start, this one really good. He picked up a playoff win. Even if he walks after the season, like was that Shane Bieber trade worth it?
Think so, right? Like there's always the phrase flags fly forever, right? So you take that opportunity, you need 8 wins at this point to get that pennant, and you got to win tonight from Shane Bieber. So to me, absolutely it's worth it. Don't quote me if Cal Stevens goes on to win 3 Cy Youngs or anything, but this is why you got him, and it was a big start from him today. And yeah, just echoing everything that's in the comment section right now. Uh, Great job from Shane Bieber. I don't think you get this win without him.
Yeah, no, I don't think you do either, and it was really really encouraging. Last note on Shane Bieber's pitch usage. So we mentioned the slider usage was up. That means the fastball usage went down from 36% in the regular season on his four seamer down to 23% today. And I don't know if that was recognizing that he had a really good slider tonight or a specific game plan against the Mariners. We know that lineup. Well, they have a ton of power, and they showed it off tonight with 3 more homers, but they will swing and miss, and you can get them to swing and miss. And maybe that's the template going forward. We know the Blue Jays are a pretty splitter heavy pitching staff, which maybe played against them a little bit in Gosman and Savage yesterday. But another very prominent slider guy will be on the mound tomorrow, and Max Scherzer. I'm not sure if you're familiar with his name and what he does on the mound, but he is as much of a fastball slider guy as there has ever been. So encouraging stuff. Are we ready to get into this offensive performance? We might be here all night
Yeah,
talking
let's
about it.
do it. Absolutely. Where do
All
you want
right.
to
So
start?
what did it end up? 13 runs on how many hits? Like it just like a monster performance from how many guys? I think you got to start with Vlad. Was he 4 for 4 tonight?
Yeah,
Two,
nice take, Castle
two
Kelly.
or a homer, 2 doubles, intentional walk mix in there. What'd you see from him that you liked?
Just everything, like taking control of the game, right? Taking control of the offense. Everything just runs better when Vlad's hitting, and you don't want to make a thing about it after 2 games, right? Like some people did and stuff, but like it's playoff baseball. It's a funny game, right? And you have a couple off nights. I thought Seattle's pitching was pretty good in Toronto. But Vladdy stepped up today, and big thing with him, especially on his home run and pretty much all the offense today. They capitalized when Seattle made mistakes, and that's what Seattle did to them in the first 2 games of this series, and didn't see a lot out of Toronto's bats. But yeah, like George Kirby came out in that third inning, and he just kind of lost what he had going for him at the start of the game. So just being able to take advantage of some of those balls that are finding a little too much of the plate and really punishing Seattle for that. And Vlad big part of that, right? And when he's going, everyone else is going, and that's just absolutely what you needed from Vlad tonight. And it was just awesome to see him step to the minute.
Yeah, it's like impossible to ask for much more than what Vlad gave you tonight. And I think Vlad's a big vibes guy. You can always tell how Vlad's feeling when he's playing on the field. Like he wears his heart on his sleeve. And I think like in baseball, such a silly sport, like you can quantify everything. But him getting that infield single in an error in the first inning, hit the ball hard, but hey, like we were like ground ball, Vlad is back. Like not a good Vlad swing, even though it resulted in a hit. I feel like kind of got the monkey off his bat, freed him up to do some damage later in the game, and he did it in a big, big way. Awesome stuff from Vlad. Like if Vlad has a few more games like that, like the Jays are going to be impossible to beat. Like if you can keep this up for 2 more weeks, I don't know how you beat the Jays.
Yeah, I mean, you have that in the middle of your lineup, doing what he did today. Like it's gonna be really difficult. It was really difficult for the Yankees. They couldn't do it. So yeah, you need Vladdy to do that. But there's a lot of other guys tonight too. And I think one of the big ones, obviously, the Jimenez home run, the first home run that kind of tied it up. But even look at Clement. He leads off that inning with a first pitch double. And that, to me, kind of felt like the hit that the Jays needed to kind of get going. We sort of talked about that after the game, too. And just, I think I had mentioned the Varsho home run kind of late in the season against Boston. That kind of kickstarted their offense, helped them push to get to the pennant. So, to me, I hope we look back on Ernie and Jimenez's follow up home run kind of as that same moment here in this series. That was the thing that kind of kick started them. Bottom of the order coming through for that how many times this year. And you talked about the energy and the body language, and Vladdy had a double later that inning. You could see him even getting to second base. He's a lot more fired up, a lot more animated than we've seen him this series. And it just feels like, yeah, you got a little momentum with Bieber pitching, striking out the side there in the second. You get some guys stepping up, some clutch hits, and they strung some stuff together. And they found a way tonight, and it was just beating Seattle to submission with the bats, and it was just great to watch.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So you mentioned the Andres Jimenez homer to really get the Jays going. Like they were in a hole, down 2-0, very very early. Like the top of the lineup kind of went quietly, aside from that Vlad single in the first, and Ernie Clement led off the inning with a double, and then Jimenez followed it up with a bomb. Like that is a big stadium in
Crushed it.
Seattle. Yeah, there are no cheapies there, and he got all of that. And like the fact that it got out like shocked me. Like I saw it in the air, I was like, "Oh, fly out!" And that ball just kept going and going and going. Is that the swing of the season at this point? Like basically just for like what it meant for the team.
Yeah, it's pretty hard to argue against that. Just trying to think of that question now, but yeah, I mean, if this series starts going a different direction, right? And I mean, I know what I was feeling when we were down 2-0 heading into that inning. It didn't feel good. And Jimenez tying that game, he had a great game today too. And defensively, he's done such a good job. And I think he ended up with 3 hits today, but like all really, really good at bats. When Andres is playing well, he is such a big part of this team too. And I thought that showed today. He was as valuable as anybody I thought on the field. I mean, there's a long list of guys that really contributed to this win.
Yeah, so when you get 3 hits, and one of them being a homer from your like all like platinum glove shortstop, I feel like that's when everything's going right, and that's kind of what happened for the Jays tonight. Um, the one guy it was not going right for until his last at bat is Addison Barger, and yeah, Brutus here mentioning he hopes that the Barger home run in the ninth can get him going, and I think you and I are going to echo that exact sentiment because he was a guy that we were kind of on. He picked up his first hit in the series in his last at bat tonight. Um, he's been a guy that the Jays need to get going if their offense is going to be clicking. He like his left-handed bat, the power potential. The Mariners are running out all these righties, and for him to hopefully get going now, get it back on his feet, what can he mean to this Jays offense going forward?
I think he means so much. And like when he was on this year, he just showed what his worth was because they don't have a lot of lefties in that lineup. Like Varsho obviously is a great player, but he's got such a unique offensive profile that you really kind of need that Barger in the middle of the bat lefty stick, and hopefully he can get going. Like he dropped to seventh today. I think that's somewhere where we probably keep him maybe for a little bit. Hopefully he gets his bearings from tonight. Like I mean, I was excited for that home run as I was for any tonight, just for the fact that I want to see Addison Barger get going. He seems like a great dude. He's done a lot for this team. He's not a negative on defense. Keep running him out there. Hopefully that home run tonight gets him going a little bit because he's crucial to this team. And ideally, I think you would like to see him back in that four spot at some point. Totally get why Schneider took him out today. Totally agree with that lineup decision. But yeah, hopefully Addison can get going. That was a tank job there in the ninth, and you know, hopefully he can find his swing, scratch a couple out tomorrow, and get going because he's as crucial as anyone is on this Blue Jays lineup. I think tonight was a great indication why you always need these nine guys, whoever's on that lineup card, to go every night. And yeah, it was a great performance tonight. I'm not expecting them to repeat that tomorrow by any means, but really good to see Barger get that home run, get off the schneid a little bit, and hopefully that carries forward for him.
Yeah, and if you ask me, like I think I don't know if this is crazy to say, but I think that swing in the ninth inning there earned him another start tomorrow against Luis Castillo. And I like in the middle of this game, I was kind of thinking, even like when the lineup came out, I was like, maybe it's a spot I'd like to see Davis Schneider, who's been kind of rotting on the bench. I know he's a good pinch hit bat, but there's not a lot of opportunities to pinch hit against the Mariners. So I wouldn't have hated if we got to see some Davis Schneider in the lineup today. Maybe he could play second, Clement could play third or whatever. But if Barger is going to get the back going, I think he's got to be in the lineup. And I like him lower down there. I do like Santander hitting higher. I didn't like how early he came out of the game for Miles Straw. Like Miles Straw had 2 or 3 at bats. I don't know if I loved that, getting the defense on the field super early. But with a big lead like that, I can see what John Schneider's thinking, and I can think along with him. It's maybe not the move that you or I would have made, but I don't hate it, and it's hard to disagree with John Schneider in a 9-run win, right?
And I mean, that's something I did want to talk about a little bit, but it is like you said, it's hard to talk about these things when you've got an 8-9 run lead. But the one thing I would like to see tomorrow, if this is the same lineup they're going to roll out, I think you DH Santander and you put George in the outfield. I don't like picturing a scenario where you're pinch running or taking Santander out for defense late in a close ball game, and now you've got Miles Straw batting behind Guerrero in the 11th inning of a tie ball game. That's the one thing I don't like about that specific lineup. Like if you want to at Santander up in that 4 spot and you're going to DH him, he needs to be there for the entirety of the game, I think. If he's batting 7th or 8th, then yeah, there's that opportunity to bring in Straw and stuff like that. But I think if you're saying, look, Taters is our cleanup hitter, he's got to be in there for the entirety of the game. And I liked what Santander did tonight. Like I thought, again, he had some really, really good at bats. He got out there in the 3rd inning with a couple guys on, but he took some good pitches, and I think he's still seeing the ball pretty well at the plate. And it's hard this time of year, right? With playoffs, and you can tie this into what we were talking about Barger too. You don't really have too much opportunity to let these guys get going. It's kind of what have you done for me now? But I think Santander, the way his at bats have been, I like him in that 4 spot. I think he's going to produce at some point, or it's worth the chance to bat him up in that spot in the order and hope he finds something.
I agree. I think his at bats have been super productive, even if it's not resulted in a ton of hits. It was really nice to see him be on base, score a run. It was a big run at the time. I think it made it 8-2 or something like that, something along those lines. Um, and he's looked good. The results have not come yet. There's so much more in there, but I like what I'm seeing from him. I think I'm going to disagree with you on on wanting to swap him and George defensively. I think he likes to play the outfield, even if it's like awful to watch. Watching him play the outfield is I think the best word to describe it is clunky. Like it's not pretty in any way, shape, or form, and he's not a good outfielder. But George Springer's not a great outfielder anymore either. He's I think more comfortable out there than Santander. But George has talked to I think a lot about staying off his feet this season, DHing, helping him get his bat going. And it's hard to argue with what George has done with the bat. And then further, I think late in games, especially with the lead, you want Miles Straw's defense in there anyways. And I think I'd rather keep George Springer in the game for all 9 at DH than Santander. I think I'd rather Santander come out early than George, but that's just me. Like, if you ever
Yeah,
rebuttal, let me know. But
no, and you know what? I really don't. It's a totally fair point. I think my only issue with it is just where Santander is hitting. Like if he's hitting fourth, I just don't like to imagine a scenario where we're walking Vladdy and Miles Straw is coming up with 2 outs. And no disrespect to Miles Straw, who's been a great player for us this year, but taking Santander out for defense or base running when he's hitting the 7 or 8 spot, a little different to me than hitting in the 4 spot. But you don't want to mess with Springer either, right? And he's as vital as anybody on this team at the top of the order, and you're not going to want to take him out of this ball game either. So I guess my scenario where you just keep Springer and Santander in for the entirety of the game. But yeah, it's just a point.
yeah, no, I agree. I agree completely. Moving on to the rest of the offense. Well, I guess George Springer is one of those guys we need to talk about offensively. He moved into 4th place all time in postseason homers. He hit his 22nd tonight. He's been awesome. Another solo shot. That ball was crushed dead center. It was like 113 off the bat or something silly like that. What are you seeing from him?
I mean, he's just continuing what he's been doing all year, and it's kind of unthinkable, really, from what we've seen from him previous year and how you expect ball players to age. He's just kept it up all year and doing really, really good again. I mean, that was an absolute blast today. They need him at the top of the order and just keep going. He's been as consistent as anybody. I think with Bo out, he's second to Vladdy on importance in this batting order, and just keep going, George. That was another good game from him tonight, and hope he keeps it up.
Yeah, absolutely. No notes there. Alejandro Kirk, the catcher. We saw his Gold Glove nomination come out today, or his finalist appearance come out today yet again. He was 2 for 4 with a homer, a big 3-run homer, kind of the dagger, I would say, the backbreaker. 3-run homer the other way. Hard to see anything negative about Alejandro Kirk at the plate in this one. What'd you think?
Yeah, I mean, just nothing bad to say about Kirky, really ever. I mean, he does such a good job behind the plate. Some nights it seems whatever you get from him offensively is just a nice bonus. Like we had that catcher conundrum for a long, long time, and I don't think you can argue that Atkins hung on to the right guy and built around the right guy behind the plate. Yeah, just another great performance from him. He's been so clutch at the plate heading into the playoffs here. The last day of the season, he kind of got some things going, and I just love his at bats that he gives you. He's not an easy out at the plate. He makes good contact, and yeah, I mean, just another guy on a long list of guys tonight that just had really, really good games and didn't want this series to end.
Absolutely, man. I think well, we could wrap up the offensive conversation. I do want to give a quick, very, very brief shout out to Ernie Clement. 2 more hits tonight. What he's been doing at the bottom of the order, pretty much all playoffs, has been unreal. He just puts the bat on the ball. He's hunting fastballs, and his double right ahead of that Andres Gimenez home run was awesome. And how crazy is it that he got named as a finalist at 2 Gold Glove nominations? Like, how does that even work? Like,
I know, and rightfully he could be the winner at both, right? Like he's outstanding job playing third base this year, but all over the infield and just hats off to a guy like that, playing pretty much near every day for them, wherever they need him. And I, like Dan said tonight, 35 doubles. I don't think I'd heard that total until somebody told me tonight. Like that's a very, very impressive season from a guy that's quite frankly, he's become pretty indispensable to this team. Like when he's playing well, this team wins. And it's guys like him and Jimenez and Lucas had another great game tonight. Those guys carrying a bit of the water, it just helps everything. And that's how you get the amount of runs you had on the board tonight.
No, I agree 100%. And like when it's a guy that is like, oh, he's on this team for his glove, and it's hard. Like we're talking about the offense, they scored 13 runs tonight. This is a team that's missing Bo Bichette, like who's arguably been one of it, or if not their best hitter, for large chunks of times throughout the last 6 seasons. And like it sucks that Bo's not a part of this. Like I really wish he was here and contributing to this, because this season and this run has been so much fun. But it's hard not to feel so safe with Ernie and Jimenez up the middle at second and shortstop.
Yeah, like they're like Jimenez made a couple nice plays again tonight, and I mean it's just expected, right? Every night he does something, and yeah, Clement played well again, and this team just very strong defensively up the middle. I mean, I'm not saying anything that's breaking any news here, but you have a middle infield playing that well, Varsho in center field. Those things are a huge help, and it was on display again tonight, and just great to finally get a win in this series. We could be having a much different conversation now, but great game, resounding win, and big one again tomorrow.
Yeah, you mentioned that up the middle defense, like between Kirk behind the plate, Jimenez, and Clement up the middle on the infield, and then Dalton Varsho in center field. And this is a team that also employs like another Gold Glove center fielder in Miles Straw. Like, I think this is like when the defense gets its chance to shine, it really shines for this team. And the up the middle defense is something that like we can't ignore. It's something that plays more in the long term, like over 162, I think, than in the playoffs. But there was a couple nice plays by Jimenez and Ernie today. I think they deserve their flowers, even in a lopsided victory like this. Before, there's a couple things I want to touch on in this game, but the comments section is getting antsy about Game 4 and Mad Max. Are we worried about Max, or does he have a vintage Scherzer moment up his sleeve? Thank you, Mason, for the comment.
Yeah, he's got a vintage moment up his sleeve. I'm gonna die on that hill until I see otherwise tomorrow. Um, Look, you give Max Scherzer the ball tomorrow, it's still Max Scherzer, and I just feel confident letting him get to the mound. I hope they give him an opportunity to pitch into the game like Bieber got today. I know people are a little uncomfortable with Max and what he's done over the last couple months and such, but I don't think you can go into tomorrow hoping for 9 to 14 outs from Max Scherzer and call it a day. I think you got to go in, hope he can go 5 or 6 innings for you, and then turn things over to the bullpen. And if you can't get there, then have a plan B. But I don't think you can go into tomorrow. Max has gotten a little trouble here in the fourth. We're going to take him out. Give him a chance. He's earned it. His resume speaks for it. And if you lose because Max Scherzer lost a playoff game, I mean, things happen. But I'm confident. I think when Max Scherzer gets on that mound tomorrow, it's just going to feel like any other playoff spot start for him. And I'm very hopeful we see some vintage Max Scherzer tomorrow.
Yeah, I think you're braver than me for that take. I think I'm hoping for 9 to 14 outs. Don't give up too much damage. Like this Mariners lineup is scary. Like they hit for a ton of power. Like every guy in their top six is liable to go deep at any time. From like a Rosarena to Suarez in the sixth spot there. And Max Scherzer is a guy that will give up the homer. He gives up the long ball. Hopefully tomorrow, solo shots, right?
Yes.
I think like 4 innings, as Carly says, I think that's realistic. Like twice through the order, it's hard to ask for that much more in the playoffs. They're going to be grinding out at bats. He did not look sharp down the stretch. And he's starting game 4 for a reason, right? Like he is legitimately their 4th starter. So like, am I super excited about seeing like a future Hall of Famer start for the Blue Jays in what is basically a must-win game? Like, the difference between going down 3-1 and having the series at 2-2 is just massive, right? So the chance for Max to like have a vintage Max Scherzer start, like it would genuinely go down in Blue Jays history as one of like the all-time moments. Like that'd be right there with like Marco Estrada against the Royals. And like I'm too young to name any that starts in the World Series runs, but like it would genuinely like put the city on like on I don't even know, like on 10 out of 10 excitement level. I think it would be amazing. I'm nervous for it, but I think if we get what you are expecting, like I will be the happiest man in the house.
Well, I shouldn't say I'm expecting this because everything you just said is a complete valid point and probably how things are going to go down. But for me, I'm just excited to see Max Scherzer get on the mound. I just keep going back to this is why we signed him. This is why he's here. I think he knows that this is a big moment for him. Potential another kind of career defining moment for him on the way to Cooperstown. Let's just give Max an opportunity to pitch a good game, go toe to toe with the other starter. That's all I'm asking for. Because again, like I don't know. I just don't have confidence in this bullpen getting 15, 16 outs in a game to close it out. So I just think you got to give Max an opportunity to go at it.
Yeah, and Chris and Blue Jays today are in the comments saying lineup is going to need to carry tomorrow. And the best way to get Max some length will be to score 13 more runs. It's a lot to ask. Luis Castillo is a tough matchup, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say he's gettable. I think you can beat Luis Castillo. I'm fairly confident. I know we've seen Luis Castillo do it to the Jays in the past in a big way. Thinking back to 2022, like he was untouchable in his start in that wild card series. He's not who he used to be, and I think I'm confident in what the lineup can do to him tomorrow. Before we get out of here, we do have to talk about the bullpen. There's not much to talk about because we only needed 3 innings out of them tonight. It was Brandon Fisher who had a clean inning. Not much to say about him. He kind of looked like himself, got a big double play ball. And then Yariel Rodriguez is the guy that I've been super high on this year. He was a guy that, like, when Jimmy Garcia went down, I was like, he's going to fill those shoes. And he did for a while. And down the stretch towards the end of the season, his stuff kind of fell off a cliff. He was not looking himself. He's definitely fallen out of my circle of trust. It seems like he's fallen out of John Schneider's. He comes into the game, and I do not feel comfortable. He gave up back-to-back homers to Randy Arozarena and Cal Raleigh. What did you see from him that you liked or didn't like? Obviously, not much to like in a performance that gave
No,
up 2 homers.
no, you're right. Like I think he's kind of fallen on of Schneider's trust, and you're right in saying that he pitched some big innings for them this year too. Like I really liked what Uriel did this year. I thought there was some moments in the year when he was as vital as anybody in the bullpen. But like I don't want to sound too strong, but he's kind of unplayable right now. Like he came in Monday or Sunday, I can't remember what game it was now, but he walks the only 3 guys he faces. Tonight he comes in, kind of a get right appearance and gives up 2 home runs. I just don't know if you can go to him at any point now unless the game's 10 runs either direction. Um, just not a lot of confidence there. And I don't feel good saying that because he's been a pretty big part of the bullpen all year. But it's just not working right now. And maybe you have the opportunity to at Barger down in the lineup until he figures it out, or that's what they've been doing with Santander. But bullpen, especially the way a lot of guys are pitching in that bullpen right now, you just can't chance putting him back out there in a close game. So that was the one disappointing thing for me tonight was Yariel's performance because I just don't really want to see him in the series again.
No, I don't either. It's disappointing because he's been very good for this team at times. Like when this bullpen was in a tough spot in like May, June, July kind of thing, like he was like genuinely huge for this team. He was a massive help. Um, yeah, I think there's a reason they're bringing him in in a 10-run game. I think that's the way it's going to be for the remainder of the season, and hopefully he's a guy that we see a bounce back from going into next year. Although I'm not ready to think about next year. Before we move on to a little preview for tomorrow, I wanted to ask, does game one feel like a major missed opportunity for you now too? Because I'm thinking about it, and like that was a 2-run game. That was a game you were leading late. Bullpen kind of coughed it up. Gosman kind of coughed it up. Like some regrettable. It's just a regrettable loss, I think. And like we can't live in the past. The Blue Jays certainly are not thinking about game one, but I think it's a lot closer than history will remember of the Jays being up 2-1 right now.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna look back on that, especially if the series doesn't go the way we want it. You're gonna look at that game one for sure, I think, as a big missed opportunity. The way you had Kevin Gosman start he gave you. Yeah, it's tough, but you're right. You are where you are. You were down 2-0 tonight, had a big game, big bounce back. So tomorrow, it's you can't even really think about tonight tomorrow. It's a 2-1 series. You're still down. Tomorrow's as must win as any one game will be in this series. So um yeah, it's going to be hard to look back on game one, but not really something I'm thinking about too much right now. It is what it is. It's a 2-1 series. Just got to get them tomorrow.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Tomorrow is just as much must win as today was. You lose tomorrow, your backs are officially against the wall, and you're playing eliminations games. You know it's got to go 7 if you're going to have a chance to win. So tomorrow is a massive game. It's going to be Max Scherzer versus Luis Castillo. How are we feeling about the matchup? Like, are we predicting a Jays win? Are we going to be biting our fingernails all day? Like, what's
Oh,
the
I'll be
vibe
biting my
going into tomorrow?
fingernails all day. Absolutely. Like tomorrow. It feels like an indictment on the season tomorrow. Going down 3-1, I don't think is going to be great. I don't want to say that's going to be series over, but it's not going to feel good if that's the result. So, yeah, it's going to be nervous tomorrow. It's probably not going to be a very comfortable game to watch, especially like I will be realistic and say, yeah, probably what you're going to get from Max Scherzer is somewhere 10, 14 outs, and then it's going to be the bullpen, and that leads to the stress, right? But yeah, I don't know. I do feel good about the matchup. Like you said, I don't think Castillo's as invincible as we've seen him the last time they played in the playoffs. I certainly can't remember that game. But yeah, I mean, I feel good. You did the damage you did off George Kirby today, who got transplanted by Jose Barrios in the third inning, because that reminded me of every Barrios start that goes wayward. But if you can do that off Kirby, he kind of scared me tonight, and he was looking good. They strung some stuff off him tonight. No reason you can't do that, Steele.
No, I agree 100%. I think, like I said, I think Castillo's gettable. And I think you are in a little bit of an advantaged position going forward into games 4 and 5 of this series, because you did not need to use any of your 5 best bullpen arms tonight. And the Mariners didn't either. But you didn't have to use your 5 best bullpen arms in a win, right? We didn't see Brendan Little tonight. We didn't see Louis Varland. We didn't see Sir Anthony Dominguez. We didn't see Jeff Hoffman. Um, am I missing a guy? I might be missing a guy. But we didn't see any of the leverage arms for the Jays, right? And I think, especially with the nature of the 2-3-2 series, where games 3, 4, and 5 are played on back-to-back-to-back nights, I think that's huge, because now like the leash is going to be off for those guys. Like if we need to see your leverage guys in all 4 remaining games of the series, especially with that day off, which will come, I believe, Saturday, after 2 more games. I think like every guy is going to be all hands on deck, is what I'm trying to say. I think
Yeah,
that puts you
absolutely.
in a good spot.
In every inning tonight, like that's why it was so crucial, right? To get like Bieber going 6, saving that bullpen, being able to be in a spot to give Rodriguez that 8th inning. Like you said, there it gives me a lot more confidence going into tomorrow, knowing they have all of that behind Max should things go sideways. Yeah, I mean that's great. Seattle might not have used much of theirs. I'm not too worried about what Seattle's doing with their bullpen, and I'm really concerned with ours at this point. And so that's good that you've got all those guys ready for tomorrow. I do have a feeling tomorrow's going to turn into one of those maybe matchup games late. Might be a bit of a closer game. Might be some more runs on the board. I mean, both ways. I mean, Toronto had enough tonight, but yeah, I am feeling good about the matchup. And yeah, I don't know. Like, are you good with throwing out the same lineup again tomorrow night, or would you make any changes?
I think you score 13 runs, you're gonna have to run it back.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think you have to.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and fair. And I mean, the only thing I'm thinking is still that four spot. Like if that's somewhere
yeah.
where we want to keep that in Santander, I don't think you move Barger back up there at all. The only name I thought maybe bat Kirk in the four spot, but you do want to split those bats up, and not like I've been a fan, you've been a fan of what Santander has been doing at the plate. I think he's going to be due for one here. I leave him in that four spot. I roll out the same lineup tomorrow. Um, and yeah, we'll see. We'll see what that does.
I agree 100%. I think tomorrow, yeah, I think tomorrow is going to be another good day for Jays fans. I had a feeling. I think it might just be my optimism talking, but I think I'm all the way back on this team after being all the way out after Shane Bieber's start to this baseball game. I was ready to get on here and talk about the end of the season, but I think, man, like it's hard not to feel decent about the spot the Jays are in. Certainly a lot better than the last time we were talking here. And if you don't have anything else, I'm good to get out of here. I'm feeling good.
Yeah, let's we're feeling good. Let's have a happy sleep tonight, and hopefully the same kind of conversation tomorrow.
Yeah, let's ride these vibes all night. Or we can start feeling nervous around lunchtime tomorrow. Uh,
I'm
and
sure at
yeah,
about 6 o'clock when I wake up, it's gonna be nerves right off the bat. But
yeah. See, for me, like I think I'll be able to like have a happy breakfast, maybe watch the highlights, Jason 30 or something. Feeling like good, kind of revel in the moment a little bit, and then it'll be time to move on to tomorrow night. It's going to be Max Scherzer against Luis Castillo. Jays are going to have a chance to make it a 2-2 series. They're going to have to pick up their second win. We got people saying Jays and 6 in the chat. Go Jays. I think people are kind of back in on this team, and it's amazing what a performance like that will do for your team.
yeah, I mean, playoff baseball is a trip, right? You get those two games we had in
Yeah.
Toronto. It was just not good and not at all like all the permutations of this game that I ran through my head before tonight. I don't think I've seen a blowout win the way that it happened tonight. So it easily could just go back the other way tomorrow, but just keep the momentum going. I think maybe being away from home in Seattle, bit of pressure on the Mariners now. Just hope things are going to keep going the way they are tomorrow.
All right. I agree 100%. And I think we could talk about this game all night. So I'm going to stop us there. I'm going to get us out of this. And thank you, everybody who tuned in to Jay Center's live stream following the Blue Jays 13-4 victory in Game 3 of the American League Championship Series. We have a 2-1 series. We're not going to get too far ahead of ourselves. Think about tomorrow yet. Enjoy tonight. Enjoy these vibes the rest of the night. Have a happy sleep and go Blue Jays. Thanks for tuning in.